The great entrepreneur, J. Paul Getty, had a three-step formula for success. Rise early, work hard, strike oil. While my formula might not be as simple, it's just as effective. We've all heard stories about entrepreneurs and even romanticized about them. Entrepreneur fails 7 times, but picks himself up and becomes a big success. Entrepreneur bets everything, borrows from friends and family, mortgages his home, maxes out his credit cards, and just before being foreclosed upon, strikes it big. I've been fortunate enough to have my companies appear on the Inc. 500 list 5 times, and this year will make 6. I also have served on the executive board for the Young Presidents Organization and the Entrepreneurs Organization. And I've been intimately exposed to hundreds of successful entrepreneurial companies. From this, I've created a formula that will dramatically minimize the likelihood of failure of any entrepreneurial venture, provided that the idea itself is viable. Now, that's not to say that you need to do every step to be successful, but with each step, you will increase the likelihood of success as well as the level of success that your company can reach. The entrepreneur that you start out as today is not the entrepreneur that you become 7 years from now. As a result of my experience, I've created 5 principles that, if implemented, will dramatically maximize the likelihood of success for your next entrepreneurial venture. The first principle is top talent. The key is to hire the absolute smartest people you can find at the positions that you're looking to fill. To be the best, you need to hire the best. Paying a 20 to 30% premium will pay instant dividends. And A players are 10 times more productive than that of B and C players. And the premium that you pay is instantly accretive. I'll take 10 superstars over an army of mediocrity any day of the week. And A players, they solve problems. And they solve problems that you don't even know exist yet. And they do it without the constant management and babysitting that other employees require. Second principle is putting people in the right position. Every entrepreneur has something that makes them special. Call it a superpower. And they fall into one of 4 categories, which I'll discuss in a second. But it is this superpower that is the secret to that organization's success. But it's not until the entrepreneur gets the other 3 positions that he'll achieve real success. I'm a huge football fan, so I'll give you a couple football analogies. Arguably, the 4 best players in the NFL today are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees. However, if I had all 4 on my team, I would be only a marginally better ball club because they all play the same position. To be great, I need talent at every position. While a great player may win a game or 2, multiple great players win championships. I researched every great team, that is, teams that have won 2 or more Super Bowls in a 4-year period of time. And what I realized is every one of these teams had multiple players who have been inducted into the NFL Football Hall of Fame. In fact, most of them had 10 or more, and every one of them had their head coach inducted into the Hall of Fame. The business world is no different. Instead of quarterbacks, receivers, linebackers, and coaches, we have visionaries, sales, operations, and process and systems people. 2 of these positions are offensive and generate revenue, and the other 2 are defensive and help to reduce expenses and stabilize the organization. But you need all 4 key positions. And more importantly, you need to limit their activities to this role because this is their highest and best use. It's not to say they can't do an okay job at another role, but there is an opportunity cost to their time. It's like an assembly line. You do what you do best, the guy next to you does what he does best, and when you do this, it's a classic example of 1 + 1 = 3. The whole key here is to accelerate transactions. The third principle is experience. The entrepreneur who failed the first 7 times before striking it big did not necessarily come up with a better idea on that 8th venture. What he did is he leveraged the experience from the failures of the first 7 to make that 8th venture a success. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book Outliers, states that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. Great athletes understand this. They practice more. They want to get to the point where it's simply muscle memory. And business is no different. We don't want to have to think. Simply react. My daughter is a great skier, yet we live in Florida and we go skiing once a year. Could she be an Olympic skier? Possibly. But without the constant practice and experience, she doesn't have a shot to compete at that level. But what do you do if you don't have that experience? Can you accelerate it? Yes, you can leverage other people's experiences. There are a number of organizations that promote experience sharing, such as YPO and the Entrepreneurs Organization. The advantage to these organizations is they leverage the combined experiences of their members. Now, it's not to say that you can't get that on your own, but it acts as a shortcut to reduce both time and money. Also, 1 or more quality mentors can have a similar effect. And they can also act as a coach or a guide to make sure you stay on the path and you get where you're trying to go. Also, education, both formal and informal, can fill that void in an area that you're lacking. The fourth principle, once you have the people in the position with the requisite experience, is to apply an entrepreneurial culture to the organization. When you do this, it acts as an accelerant to ignite hypergrowth. A few of the more important traits of an entrepreneurial culture are as follows. Purpose. People respond to a sense of purpose, not money. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And an entrepreneur who is passionate, he'll provide that sense of purpose for everyone throughout the organization. Next is empowerment. Great entrepreneurs are confident and decisive. But how do you pass this trait throughout the organization? Empower them to make decisions. There are 3 possible outcomes to any decision. The best is the correct decision. Next is the wrong decision. And the absolute worst is no decision. The first 2 dramatically accelerate the transaction and keep it along its path. The third stops it dead in its tracks. Next is urgency. Everyone in the organization must be in a hurry. There is no tomorrow. You need to do it today. Good things don't come to those who wait. They come to those who go and get them. And innovation. Entrepreneurs have no patience for the status quo. They don't care. That's the way it's always been done. But how do you pass this throughout the organization? You tell them to question everything they do, and you give them the directive that there's always a better solution. Find it. You'll be amazed by who in the organization comes up with the true gold nuggets. And finally, the 5th principle is that of laser focus. Over the years, I've come to realize there are only a few decisions that you make that truly move the needle. Yet, you can't do everything. So you need to laser focus onto those items that, if you implement, will have a material impact to the organization, and apply your resources there. Everyone in the organization must be on the same page with one common objective. There can't be any side agendas. If you allow them to coexist, they will act as a cancer and they will destroy the organization. A boat will always move fastest when everyone is pulling in the same direction at the same time. My favorite football coach of all time, Bo Schembechler, had a saying, the team, the team, the team. You need to align everyone on the team with the same objective. This will act as a check and balance throughout the organization because you can't be everywhere and you can't manage everything. Entrepreneurs are executors. They don't care how difficult the task, they will laser focus on that goal, and they will not relent until they've achieved their goal. In the 80s and before, entrepreneurs were viewed as people who simply couldn't get a job at a large company. Yet today, they're romanticized as larger-than-life individuals who took a chance and hit it big. Over the years, society has missed out on great innovation and businesses because the people who could have created them lack the entrepreneurial DNA, or they were afraid of taking a chance because they perceived the risk to be too great. However, entrepreneurs do not need to fail at a high rate, and they do not need to take unnecessary risk to be successful. By applying the 5 principles I've discussed today, any entrepreneur can evolve from a long shot to a sure thing. And the better someone applies these principles, the larger their company will grow. It's a simple formula, but when applied, it works.